In the 1950s, the equality envisioned by the Declaration of Independence was far from a reality. The 1950s were a turbulent time in America when racial barriers began to come down due to Supreme Court decisions, most notably Brown v. Board of Education, and due to an increase in the activism of blacks fighting for equal rights. The Brown v. Board of Education ruling was one of the most historical and influential cases in our nation's history. This case took on segregation within school systems, or the separation of white and black students within public schools. Up until this case, many states had laws establishing separate schools for white students and another one for black students. As expected, many in the South were unhappy with the outcome, and even the president at the time, Dwight Eisenhower, swore to uphold the Constitution process. The fight that followed was not a pretty one. Many people lost their lives fighting for their rights and opportunities to live free in an equal and blended society. Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist minister, was a driving force in the push for racial equality in the 1950s and 60s. Without the favorable ruling as people got in the Brown v. Board decision, civil rights activists like King would not have had the momentum and confidence to fight on with the battle against segregation, and without the huge impact for his people they got with the Brown v. Board decision, it is unknown whether a speech like "I Have a Dream" could have been delivered and had such a monumental and influential impact on the whole entire world. August 28, 1963, Martin Luther King Jr. gave one of the most, if not the most, famous speeches in the history of this country on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. The summary of the speech was put best by John Lewis, a U.S. representative. Dr. King had the power and the ability and the capacity to transform these steps in the Lincoln Memorial into a monumental area that will forever be recognized. By speaking the way he did, he educated, he inspired, he informed not just the people there, but the people throughout America and unborn generations. A connection between the Brown v. Board decision and the "I Have a Dream" speech is that in the speech, King says, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character." That quote goes directly in line with what occurred in the Brown v. Board ruling in the sense that children were not judged by the color of their skin, but instead blacks were viewed as human beings like they should be and could share the same opportunities that whites had. The Brown v. Board decision and the "I Have a Dream" speech have played a drastic role in our country, in our generation, and for generations to come. If it wasn't for both of these things, we would not have the same social equality we have today, and we would certainly not have been able to witness an African American elected as President of the United States, among other things.